Bessie's my brain, my brain, my brain, my brain, my brain! I have a thought. That's right, besties, you heard it here first. Me, froggycrossing, finally has a thought. I know, thank you. It took a lot for me to get here. My thought, my idea today is to build something in Animal Crossing. Revolutionary. Okay, but really, today I'm channeling my inner peace and inner strength because I'm going to be using castle walls and building a fort in this disaster area. Yeah. Specifically, we are building a fort that is in St. Augustine. St. Augustine, Florida is known for having this pretty sick-looking fort called Castillo de San Marcos, which is a 315-year-old Spanish fort and also the oldest structure in St. Augustine. And I hope you're writing all of this down because it will be on the quiz. I felt like my Florida island needed some sort of historical structure and maybe some cannons, so this build kills two birds with one stone. Well, we're killing the birds with the stone, not the cannons. Those are for decoration. But some quick housekeeping as we get into this build, or would it actually be fort keeping in this case? Either way, if you haven't checked out my merch shop, check it out for all of your Froggy Crossing clothing needs. And I also recently opened a Cameo where you can get personalized videos from yours truly. Okay, fort keeping is now over. Back to the build. As you probably know, I have been on the hunt for Lily lately over on my live streams every Monday at 4 p.m. EST. And in my last Let's Play, I kicked out Ketchup to go look for her again, so I currently have an open plot again. But I'm noticing a kind of a cycle that I'm going through. I kick out a villager to look for Lily, but then I have an open plot, so I can't time travel, but I still want to build, so I make do with whatever builds I can do without time traveling, but then the urge to build gets stronger, and I end up either autofilling or taking someone else. But then I haven't found Lily still, so I kick someone out to look for Lily, and the cycle continues. All of that to pretty much say, we're currently on the stage where I am making do with whatever builds I can do without any time travel. I really wanted to make something in that little semicircle cliff area that we made in my last Let's Play, but there was this really annoying incline in the middle of it that I never bothered moving, so that was very unfortunate. So here we are instead, with way too many castle walls, one brain cell, and a dream, making this glorious fort. Now this area is a prime location for a fort, right on the water, at the back of the island. A lot of people were applying for this location actually, but thankfully they accepted my offer instead. I did put in an offer about 1,000,000 bells over asking price, so maybe that helped. However, we do have our Florida-shaped cliff on the left side of the fort, and to maximize the size of the fort, I started putting the walls like right up against the cliff. So it is awkwardly touching those cliffs, which is not ideal, but we make do. And I did make some cliff adjustments anyway, here and there, just so things would fit, even though I told myself, Raven, do not touch the Florida cliff, you can't make that many adjustments to it because then it's gonna start to look weird. But I made adjustments anyway, just don't look at it too closely on my map, okay? We are just about wrapping up the walls of the fort here, and I struggled a bit trying to decide what the front was gonna look like, but ultimately I decided to keep it very open with not one, but two gates. Be jealous. And then all that was left before I could start throwing items all over the floor was to finish said floor and fill all of that up with the stone path that I've been using. I do realize that it's kind of a lot of gray everywhere, but look, that is the color of the 4 IRL and I am just trying to stay true to the source material, okay? And since there is that big rock in the back with quite a lot of real estate, I decided to open up one of the walls so we could access it and put something back there in the future. Do I know what's gonna go back there? No. That is a problem for future Raven. But next I wanted to start working on the front of the fort. Things were starting to look a little too castle-y around here, so we definitely had to fix that. I figured some of the tiles on the ground would be nice to place some items on top of. Then I threw down some coconut trees, aka my twins, and then one of those little banners with the Florida state flag customized on them before I realized that they were totally getting eaten by those coconut tree leaves. But it's okay, I fixed it up, and I also decided to put some log stakes in between, and dare I say, it's looking pretty cute. But now I can finally throw items on the floor, my favorite parts, and I'm gonna start with the inside of the fort since it's pretty simple. I don't think they keep a lot of stuff in old forts nowadays, like maybe some rusty dusty cannons, maybe some barrels that don't hold anything, that kind of stuff. Honestly, I'm probably even pushing it with the fountain, to be honest. And now that I'm looking back at this footage, I might have kept it like too simple, because where are the custom designs? Where is the flavor? Where is the flair? I think I'm gonna have to go back and throw down some puddles and lizards around, you know? And then imagine you're me for a sec. Okay, imagine. You're finally feeling motivated to build an Animal Crossing. You have a cute idea for your island. You went and got all the materials and started building it, okay? It's coming out great. You're happy. You're excited. You've got that momentum going, and all you want to do is move on to another area to decorate, and then you have to do this. I wanted to scream. I wanted to scream. Sorry, I just really had to vent about that, and I knew that you would understand, besties. Now I'm working on these other rocks over here right next to the fort, and I figured, why not? Let's give this island significantly more cannons and significantly more barrels. That should be totally fine and safe, right? Honestly, I think any island could be improved with more cannons and more barrels, but that's just my little opinion. There is something so weird yet good about flattening your island instead of resetting, because like I'll start building something in a certain area and it feels kind of weird remembering what build was like in the area before. Like to me, this is the spot with the train station and the little gift shop thing. So it feels kind of weird to put another build here, especially something so big and in a totally different theme. Like I don't know if it's just me or if anybody else feels like that, but this is my first time flattening my island instead of resetting it. So, you know, these are new feelings for Raven. But aside from that, I've genuinely been enjoying the flattened island process. Like I've reset my island enough. I'm done. Like I'm good. I was ready for some good old flattening, and I really do enjoy having all my DIYs and all my items and all my emotes and everything. And the best part is I don't have to worry about getting chops in the campsite or doing the 3 plots, and that is a blessing. But anyways, I am moving on to the next areas. Just slapping down a few extra custom designs out in the front here, and then I'm gonna head over to the little beach area on the right and start working on that as well. I just had to do some minimal cleanup, and it was kind of tricky working in this area because we kind of have some weird little patches going on. We've got the big rock in the back, but then we've got like this little patch of beach, and then this little rock, and then another little patch of beach. It makes it kind of weird because they're too big to ignore but too small to like really do anything, so I kind of just have to stick to like a palm tree or two and then like some custom designs and maybe like 1 or 2 items, which is what I end up doing anyway. Also, I'm really gonna have to step up my game for decorating my beaches, because for a Florida island specifically, the beaches, they have to be immaculate. I'm gonna have to be like Ken. My job is just gonna have to be just beach. I mean, I feel like I did a pretty decent job on my farmcore island, but we shall see if my skills are still intact by the end of this island. Pray for me, besties. And oh my goodness, this rock was so annoying. I kept sitting on it. This was driving me insane. But of course I was working on the little grass section here too. I gotta put some sand down there. I feel like I haven't really been using this sand custom design path that much. I really need to do some areas on my island that are just like pure tropical vibes, because so far I've done like the Everglades, which is not really gonna have like sand tropical vibes. Like it could, but it's mostly like swampy marsh vibes, you know what I mean? And then I did like a city Miami build, which doesn't really have like sand. It has tropical vibes, but not like sandy beach tropical vibes. So I really need to have a spot where it's like cover the area in sand, do a whole bunch of like seashell stuff, do a whole bunch of coconut trees, all that jazz. We'll find some spots, don't worry, don't worry. I know it feels like, at least to me, I've already decorated so much of the island, but in reality, I really haven't. I still have so much room on the first level of my island, and then I have the entire Florida-shaped cliff that I made that we were talking about earlier, and that is like humongous. Like it takes up a whole chunk of my island. It's pretty big, so we've got a lot going on. We've still got a lot of space. But anyways, let me explain the shenanigans that I'm currently doing on screen right now, because this is some shenanigans. I decided that I wanted kind of like some moat vibes around the fort, even though when you think of moats, you usually think of them being paired with castles. But in this moment, Raven wanted a moat. A moatment, okay? Ideally, I just would have had a regular bridge leading towards the fort, and it would have been like a vertical bridge, you know, going north and south, but I couldn't really do that without it being super close just because of how close the fort is to the cliffs on the left. So I was like, okay, maybe it makes more sense to do a diagonal bridge. So that's what I was trying to do. But I'm terrible at making diagonal rivers or whatever you need to make a diagonal bridge. And as we discussed earlier, if you remember, if you recall, I currently have an open plot. So what can't we do, everybody? Time travel, that's right. So I can't even like truly get a gist of how this bridge is gonna look, and I am just hoping and praying that it looks all right. I don't know, I kind of have a gut feeling that this is gonna look kind of funky, so I might end up changing this later. But that's the beauty of Animal Crossing and just playing to have fun. You can always change things later, so you don't have to leave me a comment if you think it looks weird too. Trust me, I'm already hyper aware of it, okay? And once I time travel and I can fully check it out and scope it out, I'll change it if I truly think it looks weird, so it's okay. Just save your energy, okay? I'm looking out for you. Anyways, we are wrapping up here. I am just placing the last few things outside of this fort, and then I just want to take you on a quick little tour around everything, even though you probably just already saw everything. You're like, yeah, I know what this looks like, Raven, but hey, it's not in ×4 speed, okay? So here we go. Here's the fort. It's pretty simple, pretty basic in there. And we've got the little side area. We've got a little alligator there. Just don't step on his tail. And as we walk, we've got a little cannon defense area with some barrels and just some simple stuff thrown down on the beach. I'm really happy with how this came out. This was very fun and different for me to do, so that was very brain stimulating, you know, for my one brain cell and one thought that I had. So this was really, really fun. I hope you enjoyed it, besties. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also sorry that it's just raining. This is the day that I'm stuck on because of my open plot, so yeah, we're kind of stuck in some rain. But anyways, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my merch shop down below, and also my Cameo to get a personalized video from me for birthdays, anniversaries, pep talks, shoutouts, anything. I will say it. I will do it for you, bestie. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.